very hip to be on the internet right now.
It's crypto only, mate. I would not touch crypto in a million years. Crypto.
The United States will be the crypto capital of the planet.
We're all together. We're all one.
Okay, where's the goal?
For the first time in the human race, we have unleashed a freedom virus.
Oh God, why are people listening to me? I'm just a guy.
We're live.
Yeah, welcome to the Top Signal Show, everyone. We're
Hi,
gonna be breaking
everyone.
down, we're gonna be breaking down what's trending across crypto, spotlight the latest trading tools from OKX, and chat with some of the sharpest minds shaping the space today. Actually, before we dive in, we're going to do a quick disclaimer. Everything shared on this show is for informational purposes only and reflects our guests' own views, not necessarily those of OKX. This is not financial advice. Crypto is risky, so always do your own research. I'm Elizabeth Olson, Director of Product Marketing at OKX, and I'm joined here today with Kamsky, co-founder of Mood Labs, and Erica Lee, journalist and contributor to Decrypt, and they're also both OKX alphas. Welcome everyone, and feel free to chime in on the chat. We're reviewing the chat today. We're going to be interacting with all of you, and just excited to be here. Kamsky, how's it going?
I'm good. I'm nervous and I'm excited at the same time. This is like the premiere of Top Signal. We've been working on this show for quite some time. So, just being able to see it come to life and finally be here with you girls, on OKX and having amazing guests. Like we have an incredible lineup. We're going to be having Murad join us in a few minutes in a bit, but we have a crazy programming prep for everybody. And for those that don't know, a little bit of a lore for, Top Signal. Elizabeth and Erica and I are IRL friends, not just Twitter friends. And we always have the best conversation. And we decided to, just create a show and make it our own. Again, this is not a podcast, it's a live stream for everybody wondering and commenting, but we're super excited to basically launch this, and so much love to everybody in the chat that's already here and supporting this premiere. We were so pumped. Erica.
Thanks for being here. Hey guys, so I just wanted to explain why we named this show Top Signal. It was kind of just a conversation in our group chat for fun, like what should we name it? And we decided that it would be really ironic and funny to name it Top Signal, because usually when, girls in the space, like influencers or even celebrities, are talking about crypto, people are like, oh my god, it's the top, sell it. And so we're kind of just showing that we're in on a joke and maybe reclaiming the title and being like, hey, we're actually women in the space that really know what we're talking about. And so so it's both funny and informational, and we're really excited to have you guys all here.
And we won't take it badly if you
absolutely
counter
love it.
trade us. That's fine.
Yeah. No, we're excited about the show. We're so excited to be premiering today, and we are really setting the benchmark high with bringing on one of the most heavy hitters, kingmakers in this space for this cycle, Murad. So we're really lucky to have him on in just a few minutes. But yeah, he's going to be sharing his thesis on where he thinks we're at now in the cycle. And but before that, we wanted to go ahead and kind of break down what's happening and trending across the crypto space. Yeah, market talk, market update. There's definitely been a very, very interesting market the last week. So much going on. Obviously, we're kind of in a tariff limbo land right now. So that's definitely been affecting the market from a more of a macro view. We're happy to see Bitcoin's, it's coming back. It's holding. Yeah. It's we're above 100K. I was thinking this time last year, December, Art Basel. That's when I remember that specifically when Bitcoin hit 100K for the first time. So it's really exciting to see that. Hey, we're well over 100K now, and higher, right? But yeah, I think probably one of the biggest headlines this past week is this AWS outage. Kamsky, I think you were gonna share your thoughts there.
I mean, yeah, like you were saying, and to be honest, like we were obviously chatting about what's happening right now in crypto, and I think it's interesting where we're at, like from an ideology perspective as well. Like crypto really pushes this decentralized view, and it's quite almost utopic in a way. And we're at a point where most of your favorite crypto companies actually rely on centralized cloud space from Amazon, AWS, and we're seeing over and over these outages happening. And some of your I guess like biggest crypto exchanges were down, but not only. I mean, Canva was down. I see Funky Beats here in the chat saying that he was gaming on PC and basically everything was gone. EA servers were down, so it affected a lot of people. The question is this a strong enough thesis to bring decentralized cloud computing? The thing is, we'll see. So far, the industry is relying on AWS, and it is tough to move away from that. It's a very comfortable position.
And surprisingly, Solana held up the best during this outage. I think Elizabeth has a few things to say about that.
Oh yeah, I think we have Kamsky doing some screen shares today. It was interesting to see that the Solana said that they were up and running the whole time, despite getting trolled in the past for some outages. They were very strong throughout this outage. So was OKX. In fact, we were totally functional, no issues across all platforms, and especially when it comes to OKX DEX. One thing that's kind of interesting is that OKX DEX trading platform, it's not actually a DEX. We aggregate DEXs. So we have over 500 different DEXs that we're aggregating from, these different liquidity pools. So when traders want to find the best price, we're aggregating these different options. And so if one DEX goes down, if one platform does go down with this kind of outage, it's okay, because it just means that it's one price less that we're trawling for the platform. So yeah, it's pretty interesting. A lot of people don't even realize that OKX Dex is powering so many different platforms as well. So next time you're swapping on a wallet or swapping another platform, check what the route is, and you might actually be surprised it's via our own API. But yeah, happy to report OKX was totally fine through this outage, and as we were also during the market crash. What was that now? 2 weeks ago, October 9th.
I can tell.
Feels like longer.
Time's an illusion. An
Yeah.
illusion when you're in crypto. It's hard to tell.
Flying, absolutely flying.
It's,
Yeah,
it's hard to tell. But yeah, I mean, I think this was something that definitely affected like a lot of people. But there's quite, I mean, and then we have like some pretty fun news. I know that Erica, you had found this like a video on, no, it was a tweet, right? From Zach about someone losing like $3 million in XRP. Kind of a minor news, but interesting because we know like it's a coin that like
Yes.
non-CT people really love.
Yeah, so what a victim in the US, he lost about 1.2 XRP, worth about 3 million from a Lipple wallet exploit. And so Zach XBT had a thread about like where he tracked it. It's traced to a money laundering network, and it just kind of sparked a conversation about whether things are custodial or non-custodial, because it turns out it was the user accidentally imported their cold wallet seed phrase into the app, which made it a hot wallet even though it was a cold wallet. So really interesting.
Gosh.
Yeah,
Just
crypto
talking
is
about-
it's not grandma proof yet. I mean, if we want adoption, you need people to be using the technology without necessarily knowing about the tech. It's like, you buy a car, I need to be able to drive it without necessarily being a mechanic. Hopefully, yeah, I don't know about this wallet, but it's a pretty old wallet. He said he had been accumulating XRP for over like 8 years. Poor guy.
Yeah,
So sad.
we wanted to retire with it and move.
Yeah. Pretty
So,
sad.
but
Yeah,
yeah.
hopefully he can get it recovered over time. Let's
Yeah.
see. I know it's just so difficult. I was reading that thread as well. It looked like it's so difficult for people to track down these funds, and that a lot of times services that help people recover the funds are also
I think it's over
have
for
to
him.
be-
I don't think he's ever getting it back, but good hoping
Chat,
though.
is it over for him, chat?
Oh my God, so bad. Well, hopefully, maybe he can put some money into one of these like LLMs that are trading. I don't know if you saw. It's pretty funny. Let me bring, and these are like a few things that I found this week. I thought it was like really funny. So there's this project. It's basically AI trading perps using just different like GPTs. So if you see here, they've got Claude. There's like Gemini, ChatGPT. You have Grok, which is not doing too bad. And basically what they did is they gave them each 10K, and they're making them trade. So yeah, like pretty interesting how ChatGPT is like at the bottom. You can see the stats. It's called Alpha Arena. And you can see there's a leaderboard with like all the P&Ls. And yeah, so far like DeepSeek has made 1K. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty...
For ChatGPT.
ChatGPT is dying. So yeah, the thing is like you've got these different models. Yeah, I don't use ChatGPT that much anymore. Only Grok and Claude, to be honest. It's my personal favorites. But then you can join the platform for a waitlist, and I guess they're going to be giving you access to these bots. But given the performance, I'm not sure if I want to throw in money into that. Again,
it's funny and entertaining to have some sort of competition like this. Very cool.
Yeah, maybe we can. I don't know. Maybe OKX can do something like this. But yeah,
I'll pass it along to the team.
Yeah, we'll see.
Hey, we love a good trading competition. That's for sure. We have actually a lot of them ongoing on OKX Boost. For those of you who haven't checked out OKX Boost yet, check it out. See what we have live, different campaigns if you're looking to do some trading competitions. But no, that's pretty hilarious. that you're literally seeing these LLMs try to outtrade each other. I will say I think there's different LLMs that have strengths in different tasks. You know, I'm using ChatGPT day to day, but maybe you're using you know, DeepSeek for something else. You know, Grok for something more Twitter related since it's Twitter native. So yeah, I I will say also we're about to bring in our guest in just a few minutes. But one thing I wanted us to touch on today is just, you know, since this is a premiere of our live stream show, it's been so exciting to see the absolute incredible support over the last few weeks for live streams and for content in general. Um, I know Kobe had a really big announcement. Erica, did you want to share about that?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's a really big week for crypto media in general. And, the beloved Kobe, who is known for his podcast Up Only that has been on hiatus for a very long time. Well, he had this
Legend.
NFT that was basically like, if you buy this NFT for 25 million, you can summon me to create episodes for the show. And it said that like it was all over the timeline that Coinbase bought the 25 million NFT. So basically 3 million per episode, 3.2 million for 8 episodes. But it turns out that it was all part of something even greater. And Kamsky, you can talk about it. And it was about how Coinbase acquired Echo, and
Yeah,
it was
so
just how, yeah.
yeah, exactly. So Echo is a platform that allows non accredited investors to actually take part in private equity deals. So it allow if you wanted to like set up an account on Echo, you can basically take part in different raises, and it's been sold. So he started this company like 2 years ago and sold it for like 375 mil. The Up Only show obviously was just a part of the PR stunt, that led to it. But he is going to, he's going to bring up the show. Him and Ledger will bring it back. Apparently, they just need to wait to see which guest they're going to be bringing on. They might also call it Unk Only, apparently, because it's been a couple of
Yeah.
years. It's been a few years, and apparently he's aged and his hair is gray now. So, yeah, these are like
He
the
had
latest
like a
news.
tweet, right? He was like, "Oh, I'm like Gary Vee or something." I'm too
It's
old
funny.
to be.
I kind of thought of Kobe as sort of priding himself as being more on the DL these last few years. You know, especially like he's not on camera, he's not going on spaces, he's not doing obviously his show. I've never met him at any crypto event, all the conference circuit that I've been on the past few years. So yeah, it's really interesting that he's coming out of the woodworks. I'm excited to see who his first guest will be. Maybe we'll have Kobe on our show one day.
Yeah, we'll see. But the thing is, like, it is really, to be honest, it's we've been planning this show for quite some time. I've been streaming for God knows how long now. It's been like quite some time. We've been doing a stream, like we did a stream together. It's definitely a way, the way to go. And I think the industry is catching up, and we're seeing also like some other creators really nailing down some big partnership deals and so on. And it's interesting way of how content is evolving and how people like to, digest content. And the way to go is live. It's not, again, this is a live stream for everybody that's saying, everybody's like starting a podcast now. It's not a podcast. This is a live stream. It's live content. The difference between a live stream and a podcast is that podcast is recorded, it's edited. It's not genuine. Like, you will see people mess up on camera if you're on a stream, and that's the whole point of it. It's more raw, and it gives you I would say it's more intimate in that sense. And we love this experience. We want to have, we want to see people in the chat.
Homes.
Yeah,
we'll be seeing good stuff that we can't edit out. So
exactly.
hopefully
And
also, speaking of these partnerships, shout out to Thread Guy. Huge congrats on his recent Polymarket sponsorship announcement. That's really, really exciting. I know it's kind of been like total war between Kalshi and Polymarket on the timeline. So it's been fun to see, all the different KOLs get signed on, like rock stars, like athletes to these two different prediction markets. So yeah, that's been really exciting to see the support for streamers. Um, Also, obviously all the creator coins with Pump Fun. We saw, what was it? The Tim Draper's token really took off as well, with his new show. It's kind of like Shark Tank for
I
crypto.
was shocked when I saw
Crypto.
that. Like
Yeah.
it's an interesting choice of platform. Pamfun is obviously very degen. They don't really censor the
I
kind of
love that though.
content. And
Like even like credible people like Laurishan streaming on Pump Fun as well, like really showing how how it's becoming less, just niche, it's for everyone now.
Mm,
Also, did you guys see Polymarket signed the NHL too in the National Hockey League? So
wow.
I did
pretty good
not.
for mainstream adoption.
They're not sitting around. Yeah. Um, yeah, well, I know we're at time to bring on our speaker. Yeah, just absolutely love to see this whole content meta take off. That's something that we think is really important at OKX as well. And one of the top content creators out there right now is Murad himself. Murad's been absolutely trailblazing on TikTok. Finding new ways to reach new audiences, what I absolutely love so much. Murad, welcome. You've coined the meme coin super cycle into existence last year, during your viral speech at Solana Breakpoint. And ever since then, you've been at the forefront of shaping meme coin culture. This cycle, you've been prolific with content on all new platforms, educating new communities, dissecting market cycles, culture-driven communities like SPX 6900. Um, for those interested, you can find Murad's list of meme coins, curated meme coins published on CoinGecko. And yeah, you're an absolute master at generating mind share on the timeline. So welcome to the show, Murad. We're so thrilled to have you here. Yeah, welcome. How's it going? How are you doing today?
How are you guys doing?
Sorry,
Good.
you're good.
Your sound just came in. So yeah, I know you've been in this space for years. Obviously, we all know you for championing your list of meme coins, but I would love to maybe kick it off with just hearing about the lore of Murad. I mean, you're an OG in the space. You've actually been started out with as a Bitcoin analyst, right? So would love to kind of hear your journey from being a Bitcoin analyst into this meme coin cult leader, so to speak.
Yeah, so I initially bought BTC during the top of the 2013 bubble when it first breached 1,000. Didn't do much. I lived in China at the time, so I was kind of at the right place at the right time.
Yeah.
Didn't really do much in 2014, 2015, but when the 2016 ICO bubble started to kind of come around, I jumped back into crypto and have been in crypto ever since. I was, I think, person number 3 or person number 4 to do what people these days call on-chain analytics, where we were essentially mining the blockchain for data, trying to invent new indicators, new signals, etc. And I've pretty much done everything there is to do in this space. Analytics, investing, trading, writing, and everything in between. This particular cycle, obviously, meme coins have been a big part of the past couple of years. So I focused my attention on that. A lot has changed, both in the industry overall, as well as in the meme coin space in the last 12, 18 months as well. Market has been very, very dynamic, and kind of excited to delve further into that.
Yeah, it's definitely been a crazy few years. Yeah, along the cycles, and yeah, it's interesting to see the perspective of people that have been through those different years and the different 4-year cycles and so on. And you coined the term meme coin super cycle or super cycle. And before the show, I asked some of the community like what would they like us to ask Murad, and most of the biggest like recurring answer or like question that they wanted to bring up is what happened to the super cycle. Is the super cycle still happening? Where are we at right now? People they want answers.
Yeah. So very good question. First of all, I would say that I don't believe I was the person who invented the term meme coin supercycle. You could argue that I was rather the one who popularized it. That being said, the term supercycle, it was everywhere since 2020, especially 2021, when people were first thinking that the 4-year cycle is over. Right now, there's a lot of, obviously back then, the 4-year cycle was still intact. Right now, again, we are at the 4-year mark. People are actively debating on Twitter whether the cycle will last longer or whether it will be a 4-year cycle again. Remains to be seen. I personally think it's going to be a little bit longer this time. In terms of what happened to the super cycle, I think there's quite an easy explanation. So first of all, something to understand is that this entire cycle, since late 2022, even though BTC has gone from 15K to 125K, we were still generally operating under the context of quantitative tightening from central banks. If you actually look at the past 15 years of history, whenever quantitative tightening happened, we were actually in a bear market, right? So, for example, the famous BTC bear market of 2018, that perfectly coincided with the Federal Reserve pursuing its policy of quantitative tightening as well. So first of all, the very fact that BTC has gone up 7x in the last 2.5 years is a miracle already, right? And that's something that's already against the grain. And obviously, altcoins as a whole have done pretty bad, especially when you compare them against BTC. But the fact that there were kind of 20 to 30 alts that have consistently done well is also quite miraculous. So kind of the optimistic outlook here, though, is that recently, so the optimistic outlook here is that from a central banking perspective, you could argue that like the bull market hasn't even begun. And a big reason why altcoin season, so usually altcoin, quote unquote, altcoin seasons, they do well during periods of QE rather than QT. And just a few days ago, Powell has signaled a pause to QT, which I think is kind of an early signal that at some point in the coming weeks and months, we may finally see some kind of an alt season. Now, I personally think it's not going to be like alt season of past cycles. I think it's going to be something more selective, more narrow, right? That's the first factor to understand. The second factor to understand is pump fund. Pump fund has made it so that, in previous cycles, we had 50, 60 coins in the top 100 consistently outperforming BTC. Last year, we only had 25 coins outperform BTC. And this year, we only have 15 coins outperforming BTC, right? Which means that the market is becoming more selective. The market is becoming more dispersed. And I would argue that the market is becoming more mature. Back in the day,
which are the coins? Sorry to interrupt. Which are the coins that are outperforming BTC? If you can name a few.
Yeah.
If you have them on the top of your head, of course. Otherwise.
Yeah. So I think Zcash, Hyperliquid, OKX coin, SPX 6900, and a couple of other coins are like at the top of the list. My overarching argument, though, is that you can't just buy anything and hope it goes up. You actually have to kind of like team up with other people and actually join into existing.
You mean work for your bags?
Exactly. You need to join what I call kind of either category leaders or these like social movements on chain, and then work together with other people in order to win. Now, you need to understand what Pump Fund did. Pump Fund made it so that instead of there being like 1,000 altcoins, now we literally have like 57 million of them, which is again, it's going to have this Darwinist effect, right? Or Darwinian effect, rather. Essentially, what I believe Pump Fund did is it made weak coins weaker, but it made strong coins stronger, if that makes sense, right? So if you are truly a special project, I think you actually benefit from Pump Fund because it kind of eliminates the bottom 99% of competition by over increasing the supply of those kinds of coins, and which obviously results in the lower median ceiling for those coins. But if you have some kind of a special sauce, or you're a category leader, or you're doing something cool or something unique, I actually think you're benefiting from this, because now actually investors that genuinely want to hodl, genuinely want to diamond hand, and genuinely want to buy strength, they actually have a smaller selection of coins. And now actually an investor, essentially, instead of having to choose from 100 coins, they only have to choose from 15 coins.
Right.
And really from like 6 or 7 coins, if we're being honest. So I actually think, in a way, in like a really roundabout way, Pump Fund did the industry a service, honestly.
I mean,
Awesome.
they're also one of the, fastest growing companies and most profitable companies out there. So, and right now they are trying to onboard mainstream, I'd say like streamers and so on, like onto that. So it creates that kind of a bridge, which is always pretty good. But Erica, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh, no worries. Just wanted to ask Murad because he was talking about, working for your bags, and something that he really does for his own community is work for that. And one thing is that he is very active on TikTok, and that's kind of a bubble that hasn't been fully penetrated yet in the crypto community. Obviously, crypto Twitter is very, very vibrant, and that's where everything is. But there are a lot of creators who are creating on TikTok and on Reels and Instagram, and you are one of the people who have been doing it very, very early. Some people were even, quote unquote, like making fun of you and memeing you for doing that. But now everyone knows that it is really where you get the most, people from retail, and where you can reach the masses. And so, could you tell us about what was your strategy for that, and how do you feel about that now?
Absolutely. I think it's important to kind of quote unquote lead by example. And instead of kind of wait to be carried by others, actually help them carry everybody. That's first thing. Second thing, I think if you are not being called a schizo or being clowned on, you're not early. So by definition, if you want to be in the next 100x, 1000x, you want to be called a schizo, right? You want to be called weird. You want to be called eccentric, etc. Right? Because if you're not, then you're not really early. You're already part of the consensus.
The chat is saying, we've got people going crazy in the chat, by the way. There's someone saying cringe maxing are the winners of this cycle. This is, by the way, the SPX community is showing up in the chat. We see you guys. We see you.
You're not cringe, you're not early.
I'm a very big believer in cringe maxing. I'm a very big believer in kind of awkward maxing. Why? I'll tell you why. Because I think ever since the advent of kind of people videotaping everything, I think a higher percentage of people have kind of became more tame or more conservative or more introverted or whatever. But ultimately, I believe that we live in a world where, ceteris paribus, extroverts and optimists have an advantage. So you kind of have to push that edge as far as you can. More importantly, though, I think that crypto Twitter, at the risk of sounding a little bit rude, are essentially gambling addicts and volatility junkies.
Not untrue. Not untrue.
I'm trying to think of how to say this in a politically correct way. But essentially, crypto Twitter can only take you so far. And if you truly want to reach giant levels of success, you have to go to TikTok, Instagram, Reddit, and most importantly, YouTube, in my opinion. Because I actually believe that normal people, or who people cynically refer to as normies, they actually make for much better community members than crypto Twitter participants. I think crypto Twitter participants essentially have their dopamine fried, and they can't live, like there's too much temptation to trade after you doom scroll all day, essentially, right? While normal people, and you've seen this over the years with like BTC, XRP, ADA, etc. holders that just buy and hold for literally 10 years. Those are much better people in terms of like diamond handing and believing into in the coin rather than CT. And that's why you have to essentially escape the crypto Twitter bubble if you want to succeed. And that's the ultimate holy grail.
Right, makes sense. I mean, we were just talking earlier about a guy that held XRP for like 8 years. Unfortunately, he got hacked and so on. But yeah, these are the kind of people that we don't see. And yeah, CT definitely looks down on quote unquote normies, but you know, maybe they're the real winners here at the end of the day. Most of us, when I say us, obviously like CT missed on that move back in the days, right? On XRP. So it's it's definitely a skill to go viral and create content that can be basically that can suit different audiences. And I think it's something that, definitely admirable that you're able to do this and really touch upon a different type of demographic and different audience and still like create that community, right? It's definitely a skill, and definitely not underestimate the power that you have, because it's really cool to see. And at the end, like we always, like, CT is very judgmental, but we want to see people break out of the bubble of crypto. Like there's not enough people in CT for this industry to grow, right? Like we want to make sure that we can go to bigger audiences. And I think, for example, like we had like Choose Rich Nick that went like ultra viral, and he does it like over and over again. And these are the kind of creators that are fun to watch, honestly, and I think can appeal to people that don't necessarily are super geeky and don't really care so much about crypto, but it's just entertainment at the end. And then you get extra, of course, if you follow the lead and follow. So definitely, if you're listening, go follow Murad on TikTok and his other channels. There's some pretty cool content over there.
Murad, how do you come up with the hooks for your TikToks? Because
they're really
those
good.
are what grabs people's first 2 seconds of attention. How do you come up with them?
Yeah, I mean, to be blunt, you have to be a little bit clickbaity, to be honest, to kind of get on the radar. But I try to find a good enough balance where it's like not too cringe, like not too clickbaity, but also interesting in a way.
I mean, it makes sense. I think like the movement, and without getting to what, like the movement with the hand is definitely something that keeps people going. Yeah, it's that's like pretty fun. I know Elizabeth wanted. Do you want to say something?
I have a few questions, of course. I would love to know, like, you're saying that people who are holding, they're going to get bored over time, and it's good to kind of look crazy. But like, do you not think that this market now is like super rotational, and maybe that thesis is going to shift, or do you still feel quite confident in basically what you were sharing at Solana, I guess around this time last year?
Yeah, so the idea that this market is rotational, I think, is a symptom of postmodernist nihilism that we live in. And not to shill my bags too hard, but that's kind of the core idea of SPX 6900, to fight against that sentiment and to actually essentially, our goal is to create a shelling point, which is a coin where people are going to hold rather than trade. People are going to believe in something, and we are trying to take this to 100 billion, 1 trillion plus, rather than people talking about, oh, I'm going to trade this, I'm going to scalp that, that's just soulless. That's obviously the idea that everybody in this world is now becoming a trader and is trading a different coin every hour. That's obviously downstream of like fiat money. Like anyone who's read anything monetary economics understands this, right? And our idea is essentially, we believe that in this modern world, compared to like previous decades, there really isn't any counterculture anymore, because society is driven by algorithms now. And we used to even have subcultures which are super niche now and aren't really a thing anymore. Everybody's kind of looks the same, talks the same, etc. Obviously, that's again because of social media platforms. But our idea is essentially to create a wholesome counterculture of holding and actually believing in something. Ultimately, our goal is to flip the stock market. And I believe that cultural foundation is enough to take us much, much higher than people think.
Yeah, I think that's interesting. You're saying it's very wholesome. I mean, because this idea that our whole culture is becoming more and more nihilist, less spiritual, less in touch with the spiritual, and We just want to find something to believe in, and so it's interesting that that sort of vacuum is exactly what you've honed in on. Is like, hey, this is where this community can live and where we can thrive and where we can have some sort of shared values, almost to hence why it almost feels like a cult. It's a meme coin community cult around this, shaping around this token. So it is really interesting to see that. I love that video you put out, by the way. Just finding 17 factors into things, just different things to keep aware of as you're looking for that next 100x. We won't be able to have time to go through all 17 of them today, obviously, but I would love to hear from you. What are maybe like the top 3 most important factors that people should be looking at when searching for the next 100x?
Yeah, I would say top 3, in my opinion. I would say top 4, honestly, in my opinion,
Okay.
is extremely strong community. This is what we jokingly refer to as a cult. If you kind of study the past history of crypto, then cults are the things that always win. The second thing is you want people, or essentially you want the culture to be as focused on diamond handing as possible. And ideally, you want the blockchain metrics to kind of show evidence that it's actually happening. The third thing is you want to be in a situation where poor people have already gotten somewhat rich off of the coin, because if that's the case, then a lot of them are going to kind of dedicate full time to promoting the coin. And ultimately, if you want to win, I believe, especially in the context of 2025, 2026, you want to build kind of like an internet army of people that are obsessed with the community, and everybody's helping each other. Everybody's trying to make this go viral. And fourth, a little bit more on the practical side, you want the coin to actually have done somewhat well relative to BTC over the past 2 years, because if not, then what's the point, right? So I would say out of the 17, those 4 factors are the most important. And in my opinion, essentially, I think SPX 6900 is the coin that satisfies as many of those boxes as possible.
Right. Yeah, you need to have that longevity.
I think the community aspect too. I mean, you can see it in the chat. Like, people are showing up. And before, I just want to say, like, thank you to everybody that's showing up. This is, the premiere of Top Signal. We've been working on this show for a while, and, it's the first time that we're going live all together, and we'll be having this show once a week, with the girls and amazing guests. And so honestly, like, so much love to everybody that's like liking and reposting the stream. It really means a lot. This is a work of love, and we're super grateful for everybody that's showing up, and obviously our amazing guests. I just wanted to take a moment to acknowledge the chat and send love to you guys, because you're amazing, and big love to everybody that is reposting. Sorry, just a little. Yeah, thank you, SPX bot. I see you, and everybody else, and everyone else. God, we have good more. There are so many. You guys are awesome. Thanks for reposting.
We've called in the cavalry today, truly, the meme coin cavalry. So thank you, Murad, for bringing the wave of fans here. We see Time.
Absolutely.
See you. Are there any other like really strong communities that maybe you don't hold but you admire from afar? Are there like other strong communities out there that that you have respect for?
Bitcoin, Hyperliquid, Zcash, Ethereum to some extent, I would say, and SPX 6900.
That are not majors.
Yeah, that are not majors.
Yeah, communities and like maybe meme coin communities. Yeah.
Meme coin communities that are not majors that I like, other than SPX 6900, are Giga, Mog, Harry Potter, Obama, Sonic 10, Popcat, Apu, Lock-in, Mini, and USA, and Retardia.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Speaking of
Straight from the list.
No financial advice, by the way. Just legal disclaimer. NFA, do your research. That's sorry, girls, you wanted to say. Just reminding people in the chat.
Can I ask the next question?
Go for it.
Yes.
So you were talking about cult-like communities and how that's really important. How do you keep your community so fervent? I mean, even when we think about religious movements, they all have a mission that's greater than themselves, and that's how they stay attached. Is it what how do you keep it going? Is it like
Mm.
following them back, replying a lot? What are some of the strategies for people who want to build their own cult?
That's a great question. And the answer to this question would kind of be reason five or a factor five if I had to add to the top five list. It's actually what you said. It's to have a mission. The strongest coins in the history of crypto, they all have a mission. For example, BTC wanted to become the world's money. Ethereum wanted to become the world's computer. XRP wanted to replace Swift, regardless of whatever you might think of that. Solana wants to be the platform for global kind of financial markets or whatever they call that, internet capital markets. And Hyperliquid wants to kind of be the blockchain to house all finance. And SPX 6900 wants to flip the stock market. Now, I think that mission is extremely inspiring. A lot of people think that's delusional, that's never going to happen. But if you are actually intelligent, and post-nihilistic, as I call it, you actually understand the genius of this movement, because it's actually a spectrum. And even if we reach 10% of the goal, that's still like 5 trillion or whatever. So very, 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 very amazing goal to have. And who knows, maybe we even flip the entire stock market. But the beauty here is that no one else in the entire industry is aiming for a goal that is as massive and as kind of delusional. And that delusion really, in my opinion, inspires a lot of Gen Z, Zillennial, Millennial people. And that's why the community is so passionate, because we wake up in the morning, has the stock market been flipped? No, we continue going. So we kind of jokingly say the price is binary. It's either 0 or 1, and it's still not at 1.
The
It's like a
Lulu
goal
is the
that you'll
Salulu.
Yeah.
The bigger the goal, the bigger the result. That's how crypto works.
I mean, it's any successful person has to be delusional. Like, you will not get far in life if you're not delusional, at least a little bit. Like, you need to be able to, just challenge the status quo and dream big and push those boundaries and achieve incredible things. Otherwise, you can just remain, in your own little fear cage. And that's not where we want to be. So yeah, that's pretty cool. And I see
absolutely.
the
There's actually a really famous Apple ad. There's a famous Apple commercial that's like, "Here's to the crazy ones." And I think I saw another exchange recently repurpose it, but it's basically like, "Here's to the crazy ones, the outliers, the misfits," because it's the people who think they're crazy enough to change the world who actually do. And so I feel like this just really resonates with what you're saying, Murad. It's like, if you're here early, you feel a little bit crazy, but it's here because you have conviction. It's here because you find people who are like-minded, and you're joining and you're putting a risk together. And it's the journey along the way ultimately too that I think people are excited about. It's not just an investment. It's something that's it's interesting, it's entertaining for them. But yeah, I know we're gonna be coming to a close in the next few minutes, but of course, Murad, you're here on a show powered by OKX. So of course, I have to ask you, what do you love? What do you love most about OKX Dex trading platform? You've taken a look at it. Is there any feature that stood out to you that is interesting? Of course, there's many I could share today, and would love to get your input on. But yeah, maybe it's something that's that you could compare to other platforms, or something that you thought would be interesting.
Yeah, so I played around with it. I think the UX is absolutely amazing. Um, I believe at the moment it's predominantly spot assets, right? I if
Yeah,
if,
actually,
if
I think I'll go ahead and bring up the platform on, if we can do a share screen. I think that could be kind of fun, just so the chat can see how it looks. Not everybody's familiar with OKX Dex, and we have so many different advanced tools that really are helping to give traders an edge on the market. And anyway, go ahead, Murad. I didn't mean to cut you off, but I just wanted to make sure we had this up on screen.
Yeah, big fan of the UX. I think it's very clean. I think adding perps to be able to access perps in a decentralized manner, I think that would be my next recommendation. But so far, I played with it, and It was quite good, very good.
Yeah. Okay, so you like the UI. By any chance, did you check out Signal yet? This is probably my favorite feature personally.
Yes, yes. I briefly looked at it. Very, very useful service.
Yeah. Just so the chats might kind of be curious, it looks a little, can be a little intimidating at first, anytime you go into a new platform and try something new, but you can kind of get a sense. Basically, what we're doing here is tracking smart money wallets. You can see different trades that, since the alert, have either 3x, 2x, 14x in this case, and the smart money wallets, you can see them here. These are wallets that we have our own sort of in-house algorithm that we're looking at the 7-day profit rate, the win rate, and based off of these wallets, they become the top wallets that we're then tracking. So basically, instead of having to curate your own tracked wallets, we're doing all the work for you. Then you can just simply turn an alert. You get these alerts. You can see the percent of tokens sold so far by these smart money addresses. So yeah, people have been loving this one. It's probably one of my favorite features. But
I've
yeah,
hit
what
a
kind of
few.
features do you
I've hit a
use?
few good winners on the Signal one. Just like
Oh yeah,
random
on Signal.
trenches are a bit like, they're not what they used to be a year ago, or 2 years ago, but Signal's pretty good. Like
I
actually.
remember when you hit them. I think you tweeted about it. It's really cool, and I love the UX as well. Someone in the chat asked, "Can we use OKX in Europe?" And I believe the answer is yes.
Yes, depends where you're living. Not all products are available everywhere, but yes, in many parts of Europe. Cool. I mean, Murad, are there any, like, I know obviously you're a big holder, but are you getting into meme coin trading? Have you gotten any exposure elsewhere? Are you just like dabbling for fun on the side, or are you just doing the conviction plays? And obviously, perps is important as well. I will say at OKX, we are always listening to our users. We're listening to what the needs of our users are. We're following the trends and demands, and constantly building. We're very quick to build. So that's all I can say on that. But yeah, Murad, do you have any? Yeah, do you have
Closing
any?
thoughts.
Yeah,
Um,
any
I
features that you enjoy using on your day-to-day trades?
I don't trade at all, and I recommend people buy and hold. I believe that's the way that a much higher probability way to succeed, both in this industry and this world. I would say stop trading and believe in something. I don't think you'll make money in the trenches. Both my experience and on-chain statistics will show you 97% of people lose money, and even within those remaining 3%, most don't even make above $5,000. So the real way to win is to find cult-like communities, join them, and ride that to tens of billions of dollars, hundreds of billions of dollars. Now, the way to do it this cycle, I'm telling you straight up, buy SPX 6900. We are flipping the stock market. This is the easiest way to catch 100x with no stress, no leverage, no liquidations. Thank you.
Not financial advice. Not financial
Not
advice.
financial
But
advice.
He
Okay.
said believe in something. Been
Murad,
waiting for you to say that.
we have time is asking in the chat, but isn't maybe a tricky question? Is buying considered trading?
If you
Semantics,
buy
right?
once, if you buy once, or actually better yet, if you just gradually DCA, that's not the same as trading because it's kind of semi-automated. You're just gradually getting in. When we say trading, we mean trying to time things, trying to like buy here, buy in the evening, sell in the morning, scalp, buy one coin, sell another coin, all that stuff. You'll just lose money doing it. Trust me. I've been in this space for over 10 years. Buying and holding is how you make it.
Yeah, I mean, there's people that, of course, you do hear of some people having success with trading, but it's always at your own risk. And some people love the game. They love to play around with different markets, new assets. They love to be early. They believe perhaps they're the crazy ones in this regard that will have success. And so respect to the trenches, respect to those who have fun, who stay up all night. I mean, I think we've all been there. On many occasions.
Too many.
And it's fun. I have a good time, but of course, you only invest what you can afford to lose, and everything is not financial advice. But yeah, so maybe like last closing thoughts here. What would you like to say to our community? You know, what do we need? Actually, here's a question: what do we need for normie adoption? Essentially, I know we were talking about TikTok earlier. We were talking about forming this cult community. Um, do you think this lies with onboarding more top of funnel people to Web3, or is this more about cultivating this more grassroots and expanding within the Web3 space where people already are?
If you want to onboard more normies into crypto, you need more stories of poor people becoming rich to be percolating various media platforms. And in order to actually make that happen in practice, the industry needs to send an altcoin to 50 billion plus, 100 billion plus. That's in practical terms, that's what's going to give you those stories. The problem is that for the past 3 years, we've been in QT, and Pump Fund essentially destroyed hodling. And without hodling, you can't get to 50 billion plus, 100 billion plus. And that's why if you actually want to win, you want to be buying altcoins that have as of an intense of a hodl culture as possible. That's the only possible way to send something to 50 billion. And so essentially, if the industry wants more normies to come in, they need to give more stories of poor people becoming rich. And again, the only way for that to happen is for an altcoin to send to 50 billion plus.
I mean, we had Kobe that started with $200 that is now a billionaire apparently. So hopefully that new story ripples out of our little bubble. I hope, although he's obviously a special case. It's a bit late to be Kobe. I think he was when did he join? Like 2012, 2013.
Yeah, this is the American dream, rags to riches. I mean, there's no more powerful story than this kind of like almost like a redemption story that you can find in history. So yeah, I definitely could resonate and understand how that would be very powerful for people in the more we have like this, which it seems like Bitcoin itself is already doing the job for us, right? Going over 100K. Many people having a lot of success with that, holding over time. So yeah, let's see where it goes. And mass respect to you, Murad, for leading the charge here, and educating users, going out on these top of funnel platforms and sharing your knowledge.
Yeah, thank you so much. I just wanted to add, like, that's how a lot of people on TikTok and Instagram sell courses too, because they really appeal to that, like, oh, I made it and this is how you can make it too. And I feel like I mean, it might be like some sort of like hook or gimmick, but it does help people. I mean, that's also how my dad and all his friends got into XRP as well. So
nice. Cool. Any closing thoughts, Murad, before we wrap it up?
Thank you, ladies, for having me. It was a great pleasure. And if anyone wants to follow me, I'm Mustop Murad on Twitter, and also Mustop Murad on TikTok and YouTube. Also Murad Crypto on Instagram. And look into SPX 6900, not financial advice.
Awesome.
Thanks, all.
Yeah, we'll be following. And I just want to say before we close up, this has been like amazing. I can't believe again that this show is finally alive, and we're live literally. And I can't wait to do this again with you girls next week. Murad, thank you so much for joining, and thank you so much for OKX for powering the show and letting us go live on their accounts. It's truly a really fun and experience, and we're so we're so privileged to be able to do this. So thank you for everybody that showed up. The SPX army is incredible there in the chat. We love you guys. This is Top Signal. Thank you, girls.
Thanks all. Come back next week.
Thank you. See you guys next week.
Bye, everyone.